afternoon, guys. Pardon me with my voice. Well, I'll try to keep it very perspective. I'm here to talk about, first of all, I'd like to thank my colleague Pavel. He explained a bit about tokenization, and I'd like to take the string from there and see how tokenization and governments could work together. So first off, I'm going to be taking you through the economic shift, governments and blockchain. But before that, how many of you are familiar with this? I mean, we've been hearing a lot about blockchain, amen. And we really need to see what it really brings forward, right? So the agenda is the new economic trends and the shift, governments as enablers, and what Apla as a company can do for you. So we are all aware of this, that we are living in the age of technology. 10 years behind, the entire spectrum of companies dominating the public space was different. Now is the age of the technology, and the trend is just starting up. We can define the economic pillars broadly into digital economy and physical economy. The digital economy being the intangible ones, and the physical economy, the tangible economy. In 2015, the digital economy comprised of about 23%, and the physical economy stands at 77%, contributing to the overall GDP. But fast forward 2035, we can look at a trend where the digital economy would encompass 62%, and the physical economy shall remain at 38%, and the disparity is just going to be more and more. So the shifting digital economy. So back in 2012, 6 to 11% of the GDP was with digital economy. And going forward, it's just going to unveil and have an impact on the physical economy. But the astounding point is that the CAGR is at 20 to 40%. That means to say 30 to 40% shift by business transformation is expected by digital economy, which will impact the physical economy hard. And we're going to see a transformation wherein 50 to 80% there would be a shift in skills and operation, product and services, and business model at large. So let's look into the characteristic of a digital economy. First off, we have the marketplace, which we are seeing now, which are tangible, which are product-oriented, physically based, governed by traditional economics and customer transactions. We're going to see a shift towards a market space, which are intangible, which runs on a service paradigm. It's information-based, governed by new economics and customer relationship. Every single stakeholder are connected. Products and services are tailor-made and personalized. Every communication and stakeholder would interact directly, and we are moving from the concept of ownership to a concept of usage as a service. Well, there's another element coming into the picture, that is non-human customers with the proliferation of IoT and artificial intelligence. The Internet of Everything is here. We would see devices ordering for services. With that, we are experiencing right now a collaborative economy. This is a collaborative economy honeycomb, which enables people to efficiently get what they need from each other. The main driving forces, the societal driver being the desire to connect, a sustainable mindset, and the increase in population. The economic driver being untapped idle resources and the financial climate. The technology enablers being the Internet of Things, mobile technology, and the social network. Well, the question is, how can governments align to this economic trend, facilitate the inevitable shift, and sustain prosperously? Well, you would have seen this, the age-old strategy template: people, process, technology. So this is a vision that a government can have, a smart city comprising of a set of smart people, smart economy, smart environment, smart government, smart living, and smart mobility. But the hurdle is how to deal with a park of heterogeneous systems, how to establish data streams within multi-system environments, and how to implement a trusted single version of truth. Enter blockchain. So what blockchain does is, just a bit of introduction on blockchain from a different perspective. Blockchain is an innovation roughly at the same level of generality of the SQL database. It's a parallel reimagining of how we use, store, cooperate at the data level, individually, in and out of an organization. It's a fundamental computing technology that over the course of time will become ubiquitous with every computing system. It's a network database and a cooperation technology. So the main elements of DLT system, the components could be, the first, it offers a current state database, a system of records which shows what is the current state of that particular record. Trusted single version of truth across the entire ecosystem. The DLT nodes give data which is replicated across, and the consensus mechanism ensures that the data examination and integrity is there. Smart automation brings in flexible system of entities. So, governments to respond. Where do we start? First off, with people. With the impending technological advances, we are going to face a shortage of skills and reskilling. Then we move on to protocols and regulatory framework, and then the government shall implement a technological infrastructure which enables the shift. So to start with, the education, to make people smart, we need the 21st century education. Our education system is designed back in 19th century, right? When they designed, they never knew that there's going to be Skype and WhatsApp. And the e-government shall migrate or enhance towards smart law and government ecosystem. And the new economy would be a regulated, tokenized economy. So the adoption plan with education, what do we do? First off, digitize credentials. So we validate the skills in seconds and create a trusted human resource. Next stop is the content. The content is a very crucial part. I mean, the educational content, the ministry would not be in a position to accommodate all of this technological changes that's happening. Jobs that exist 3 years or 5 years from now has not even been posted. So how can even the government foresee this? The only option is by industry participation. So the industry, the companies and employers should contribute content into the regular syllabus, paving the way for organic content development. The next stop is capturing micro-learning. The way students and we learn is changing dramatically. Gone are the days where you had a one-way lecture that would make sense. Right now, the attention span of a student is almost at par at goldfish. So project-based learning are something that we can see coming up. The reason I'm mentioning this is Apla has created a protocol for this called EduGrid, which we are working with governments, which I'll show you later. So eventually, an EduGrid would look like this. A student would have his courses, online resources, teachers, everything functioning as an ecosystem. End of the 3 years, what would come out is a learning passport, right? Today, we get a degree, but that degree doesn't say what that student did for the entire course of 3 years. He might be good at football. He might be good at public speaking. He might be good at various skill sets, but I cannot take a whole list of certification to my employer and demonstrate that. Besides that, there's a whole lot of skill sets in terms of collaboration that can be tracked by this learning passport. Moving forward, e-government. E-government shall essentially be the core of government that would facilitate this particular change. So Apla has a government ecosystem framework. Now, when you talk about e-governments are the one who facilitate the application infrastructure for all the other government departments. Now, let's take the case of Department of Economy. One single Department of Economy in a government entity would have approximately 700 to 800 services, which are facilitated by about 50 to 60 applications. Now, here's the question of heterogeneous systems. How do we unify them? And the complications are a lot. You need to maintain those application licenses, the integration, so on and so forth. But Apla, we have a different framework. We have something called the ecosystem framework where we create registries. You create registry of licenses, registry of companies, registry of population, and so on and so forth. The way we look at government is a little different. Governments are essentially maintaining registries of all its assets. And then we create the smart contract between those registries to capture the interaction between the stakeholders and those registries. Essentially, these smart contracts would be migrated as smart laws, what we call. And then, yeah, we can plug them to your external IT systems, smart city infrastructure, IoT, so on and so forth. Eventually, a government can evolve into a blockchain infrastructure where you have a government ecosystem, supply chain ecosystem, industrial ecosystem, so on and so forth. Next one, the new economy, regulated, tokenized economy. So the components required over there are, number one, we spoke about the digital economy, right? It's going to be 70%. So what's a digital economy? It's all applications. It's all living in the digital space. So when you understand this, you need a platform which is a rapid application development. You don't need to worry about coding and creating those applications there. Then you need a crowdfunding platform to basically create your tokens and lay it out there, also for the tokens to interact. And next, you need a peer-to-peer exchange. Why not the government facilitate this? And this is how the government would enable this change, right? So the STOs, the security token offering, as discussed earlier, are the new IPOs. I'm a fan of regulation. The blockchain community sometimes doesn't agree regulation is good, but let's consider the fact that flying cars are coming in, right? But what if you don't have regulation? Forget about flying cars. The cars that we have today, the traffic, if you do not have traffic lights, you're going to crash. That's exactly what the government shall do. Lay down the protocol for operation for this dynamic economy. So security token offering is the next trendsetter. Fast forward, we saw the honeycomb economy. This is what it is. We provide templates for creating this economy and creating this application structure and provide a peer-to-peer exchange, a decentralized exchange, facilitated by the government themselves. And therefore, with one single platform and a complex model, you can achieve this with Apla. So Apla is an enterprise blockchain platform. We are a protocol built originally from the ground up. And Apla means simple in Greek. So what we have essentially done is we've made it easy for you to build blockchain applications real simple. The developers don't even need to know what blockchain is, right? We are looking forward for building a network. That's where the compliance comes in, the government comes in, and we help in building the application templates. So once we decide, the fact of the matter is all of this honeycomb economy could be materialized by 20% of the templates. If you zoom out 30,000 feet, you can create economic templates. 20% of them are enough to sustain the 80% of the other application framework. So these are the elements on our platform. You can take a picture, but you can focus on the right-hand side. We have created a rapid application development. You can fail. Blockchain is a lot about new way of doing things. So you need to fail, and then succeed. But fail fast, fail cheap. That's what we try to do. We have the smart law mechanism. We have an interface designer, the only blockchain platform that gives an interface designer. You don't have to worry about creating an interface for the application. It's more like creating a web application. These are certain use case templates that we have created. Click. Next. So this is how our smart contract interface looks like. So it's all color-coded, it's intuitive, it's Turing complete, and it's easy to build. Plus, we spoke about IoT and the new non-human customers, right? back in the days, 3 years ago, or before the Bitcoin days, what we had is, if you had an IoT device, you want them to communicate or monetize, you need to plug through an API to the bank. But with blockchain, you don't need that. All of this value transfer could be attained by the wallet system. Apla, not just the application framework, it gives you a template, and the wallet system in here. So it's handy for developers. It makes their job really easy, and they don't have to focus on creating the blockchain stuff. That's how a couple of our application looks like. These are templates, running short of time. The degree certificate EduGrid that I spoke about. This is a supply chain, and this is land registry. And this is how an application ecosystem would look like. You have money transfer, business, license issuance, Forex, blah, blah, everything on the same environment. That's it. One own protocol, headquartered in Luxembourg, working across governments across the globe. That's about it. Any questions?
Check.
Come on, man. One slide back. That's my contact details.
Can we have the slide back, please?
QR code is good enough. Any questions? Would love one.
Okay.
Pressing for time. Thank you.